Are you really good at figuring things out on your own? Then congratulations. That might be exactly what's keeping you from scaling. So, in this episode, I'm exposing what I call the capable woman trap and why the most successful women don't do it alone. And if you've ever thought, I should be able to handle this myself, this episode is for you because I'm talking about the capable woman trap, why being good at everything is keeping you stuck. This last week I held two events called the Wealth Shift, where I talked about how you can, like the ways that you can move yourself, shift yourself, or need to shift yourself to be able to make the wealth, the kind of wealth that you're wanting to have. And I went through a bunch of things, and this capable woman trap is one of the pieces that I trained on. If you are local or are willing to travel to North Vancouver, BC, then please check out the link to RSVP to a coming up, one of our events coming up for the Wealth Shift. And if you are virtual, too far away, and you want to be at our online training, please sign up for the wait list because I am going to, once I have enough people, I'm going to hold that. But let me ask you something like, are you really good at figuring out things on your own? Like, I already know the answer is probably yes, because you're listening to this and because that's the type of person who listens to this podcast, right? High achieving, A type, capable women. And you're smart, you're resourceful, you're capable, and you can figure things out. And I know that, but that can also be what's keeping you stuck. And so I want to make sure that today I explain what the capable woman trap is and why being good at everything is probably your biggest liability. So, what is the capable woman trap? Let's start there. It's really that belief that I am capable, I shouldn't need help. And where this comes from, well, you've probably spent your whole life being the person who figures things out in your group of people. And how this shows up, right? Someone comes to you for answers, and then you Google it or you YouTube it or you DIY it and you figure it out. Or you need to do something now for your business. And so you Google it, you YouTube it, you DIY it, you figure it out. And that's when the problem hits in both scenarios. Your first instinct is, I've got this. I can do this. I can figure it out. And then the problem is it works, right? You do figure it out. But that reinforces itself. It reinforces this idea that you are capable, therefore you should be able to figure it out, and you should be doing that. But every time you successfully solve something for someone else, or you do something for your business alone, you think, see, I don't need any help. I don't need any help. But why it feels so true, but it isn't. Okay, so you think I can do it myself because this feels like the responsible thing to do. Would I pay for someone when I can just do it myself? Is what you might be thinking. You feel capable, right? I'm smart enough. I can figure this out. And then maybe it's because you feel very independent or self reliant. I don't want to rely on anyone else. I want to do this myself. Or it feels more efficient. And trust me, I love efficiency. So you think it's just faster if I do it myself. But here's what's actually happening below the surface, beneath the surface. You're spending your time, spending, meaning you're not going to get the time back. You're spending your time, your strategic time, your skilled time, the time that you should be earning $500 plus an hour on $25 an hour tasks. Do you see where this could be a problem? And you've maybe heard this and you know this, and okay, great. But you still do your bookkeeping, your inbox management, your scheduling, your tech troubleshooting, your graphics, your social media, and on and on and on. Could someone else do those things for you? 100% yes. But you still think either I'm capable, I'll do it myself, or I can't afford help yet, or one day I will get support with that. When I hit this target, I'll get the help, I'll delegate it. But it's actually keeping you stuck, right? Your competence How competent you are is actually your cage. It's caging you in. And the more you prove, I can handle this, I can do it on my own, I can be self reliant and independent, the more you take on in your own business, the more you take on in your life, and the more people will pile things on you. The more you take on also means the less time you have for yourself and the less time you have for high value work. And what I see often in my coaching clients or women I talk to is they don't have time for cash flow activities, right? The sales calls, the making the right connections, the following up on leads. They don't have time for that. And they don't have time for high value work, the things that your clients pay you for, or the things that are necessary for you to run a great business in the CEO or manager position. So you're not doing the $500 an hour work, which is really the only stuff that you can do. So, as I said, the sales calls, it's also strategy, it's also high level client delivery, building partnerships, creating offers, developing programs. But the thing is, you can't do those things in your business if you're drowning in admin and other things. And I know why, because I've been there, right? I've worked with women who have been making 75K a year or more. They're very capable and they're doing everything themselves. But when we audited this one specific client, when we audited her time, she was spending 15 hours a week on tasks that she could hire someone else to do, $20 an hour. So that's like 300 bucks a week that she could just be having someone else do it. Or it could be 1,200 a month, or it could be 14,000 a year. Do you think that 14,400 a year, do you think that you could make that back if you just had some targeted specific tasks that you did in your day? For sure. Imagine 15 hours a week on cash flow activities, 15 hours a week in that CEO role or the manager role, both. So she thought, I'm saving money by not hiring help, except she wasn't saving money. She was costing herself money, which is the big shift that needs to happen. Because those 15 hours a week, she could have been doing those sales calls, the client delivery, strategic planning, basically work that would generate her 30K, 50K, 100K or more per year. So her capability was keeping her at that 75K until we had her offload tasks. Isn't that amazing? And it's not just delegation that needs to happen, it's support in other ways, support in having me to be able to get her to that place of seeing things differently, seeing spending money and investing money, and spending time and investing her time on the right things. Now, I learned this myself. I was stuck at the same income level for about 3 or so years. I was working 60 plus hours a week, more so probably 70, 80 a lot of weeks. I was doing my own social media, my own blog writing, managing my own inbox, editing my own videos, updating my own websites, and on and on and on. Too much. And I kept thinking, once I make more money, then I'll hire help. And it's going fine now. I'm still doing all the things myself. But I wasn't making more money because I was doing all the things myself. And maybe you can relate, or maybe in your life you're doing all the things yourself and you shouldn't be. And so I finally made that decision. I need to not just invest in support in having an assistant, a virtual assistant, but in a coach to help me to be able to be strategic about it. So even though it felt super scary and I felt like I just can't afford this, it was like I can't afford not to. And the cool thing is, like within 6 months, my income doubled. Like, why did I wait so long? And it's not because I worked more hours. I actually started working less, but because I finally had that time for those high value tasks, the high value work, the cash flow activities, and then the strategy to be able to use that time wisely. And that's what I learned. Capacity doesn't scale. Capacity doesn't scale. Only supported capacity scales. Only supported capacity scales. So let me tell you about the real cost of this capable woman trap. If you are working so much, you're going to end up turning down opportunities because you just don't have the bandwidth, right? You might end up turning down speaking engagements. You'll say, I can't, I'm just too busy. You'll say no to a dream client and it'll be, I can't, I'm already maxed out. Or a partnership, I can't, I have no capacity. And if you're like, Diane, I would never give up a sales opportunity, but you do it in other ways. I was invited to speak at an event. There wasn't really a pay involved. This is earlier on in my business, but it was the opportunity to position myself and to be able to speak and make an offer. Okay, so all I needed to do was send them my speaker one sheet. But because I had to make it myself, I missed the deadline and they moved on to someone else. So that's missing out on an opportunity. I turned it down, not directly, but because of the situation. Or maybe you start to resent your own success, right? Like you're really successful, but you're drowning. You're hitting your goals, but you're miserable because you're doing everything yourself, or you're trying to do it based on maybe your limited knowledge on the strategies that actually work when you have support. And you end up taking the long road. Oh, you end up taking the long road. You learn as you go instead of learning from someone who else has already done it. Or you try to figure out the templates yourself, the strategy yourself, the scripts yourself, the how to's yourself without just borrowing someone else's who's now providing support in an advisory role, right? You don't have to figure out tech for like 6 hours. You can just hire someone to do it in like 30 minutes. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. You can get that advice from others, put it into place, reap the rewards, or get support to get the things done and then reap those rewards. So I just encourage you, you got to shift from being capable and alone to capable and supported. I don't want you to stop being capable. You are capable. That's not the question. But capable plus being supportive, it's going to be being capable every time. So if you think, I love being capable, great. Still be capable, but get some support. I know Oprah's not like as much in the scene now, but in her heyday, I remember reading something that said, I had a coach to be successful. And when I was successful, I didn't drop my coach, I got more coaches. So Oprah saying that really taught me that as you're leveling up, as you're getting to that next place, it's who else do I need to move me forward? Right? Sarah Blakely has advisors. Brene Brown has a team. Every Fortune 500 company CEO has the down support and probably has leadership support as well, and business advisors and a board and all these people to support them. So are they capable? Absolutely. They're still capable, but they're smart enough, wise enough to realize I can't do it all myself. And so do they do everything alone? Never. Never, never, never. Because they know support isn't a luxury. It's support isn't something that comes one day. And that's support from an advisor, coach, consultant, and support from under in doing the tasks. It's actually a requirement. Support isn't a luxury, it is a requirement. As you get to higher levels and as you build from the level you're at into that six figure and multi six figure up to seven and beyond. So the question isn't, can I do this alone? I know you can. I know you can. And you've probably proved it time and time again. The question is, what's possible when I don't do it alone? That's such a fun question. Sit with it for a moment. What's possible when I don't do it alone? What support actually looks like. It's not about being weak. It's not being incapable, lack of independence, lack of being self reliant. No, it's strategic. You don't find these multi-million dollar companies having their CEO answer the phones and make the social posts and manage their inbox. There's teams for that, there's people for that. So, support can be handing over work to a virtual assistant for $25 an hour so that you can focus on tasks that are $500 an hour. And this doesn't mean that you go and like organize your desk and take a nap and such during your workday. You still get the stuff done, but you don't have to work beyond your hours. right? Support can be a coach who has already walked the path that you're trying to walk. That's a lot of times coaches, other coaches and business owners hire me because they say, Dan, I know you've done that before. I want you to show me. I want you to give me the like insider scoop. I want you to help to take something that would take me years to do and help me to do it in months, or months to do and help me do it in a day. Right? It could be a mastermind of peers who challenge you, who champion you. It could be a team member who handles what you're not good at, like those sales calls, or the things you don't want to do, like your taxes and your bookkeeping. It could be someone sharing their systems and templates, right? Getting those from people who figured it out already so that you don't have to figure it out. You can just follow what they have done. So here's my invitation to you. If you've been listening and thinking, that's me, I'm the capable woman, I've fallen into this trap, then I want to invite you to something. One, come to the Wealth Shift. Two, come to my newest program called Dynamic Wealth Accelerator. It's a 2-day intensive where one of the things we do is we map out your support structure, right? Not in theory, not someday when you can afford it, but we map it up out now. So what roles do you need and what do you need to delegate first and how can you actually afford it? Because here's what I know. You can't scale doing everything yourself. You won't. You'll reach a threshold where you can't get past a certain place. And you deserve to not be trapped in your own capability. We're also going to go through in the program around getting your inner and outer wealth so that you can maximize those. Also, having a clarity plan so that you know what is the business plan, what is the life plan. And even if you have those already or you think you do, it's about how are we going to implement those faster, more efficiently, and leaner so that we can make the type of money we want. So if you want to learn more about that, I just encourage you, reach out to me, DM me, email me, Diane@DianeRolston.com. Let's get you out of that capable woman trap and into that ecosystem where you're supported, you're not alone, and you can really start to live the life that you are meant to live, that freedom life, and have the type of wealth that you're really looking for. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please share with a friend and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our episodes. And until next time, stay dynamic. Bye.